Right now, over 123,000 people in the United States alone are on the organ waiting list for a life-saving vital organ that they need to survive. According to the American Transplant Foundation's 2015 online information titled Facts and Myths, 21 of those people will die every day waiting. Organ donation is a wonderful way to pass on a second chance to those who need your help in order to survive. So you may ask yourself, why is there a need for organ transplant in the first place? And what's the process? And how can you help save lives? People today live longer lives thanks to modern medicine and science. However, the problem that can arise from that is that with the increased lifespan also comes an increased chance for a disease to strike someone during some point during their lives. This disease could include organ problems or organ failure. And diseases can affect both the young and the old. They could be a result of birth defects, disease, infection, or trauma. We like to trick our minds into thinking that something like that will never happen to us. It only happens to other people, right? However, according to information from the Transplant Living's 2015 information online titled Before the Transplant, there are several common diseases that you're probably well familiar with which can cause organ problems. They include type 1 diabetes, which can lead to pancreas and kidney failure, cystic fibrosis, which can lead to lung failure, coronary heart disease, which can lead to heart failure, to name just a few. With so many causes of organ problems, it's not difficult to see why the ratio is so skewed against the favor of those on the organ waiting list. To make matters worse, not everyone's an organ donor, and even those who are sometimes die in ways that their organs can't be salvaged for use to the recipients. With so many organs needed and such amassing data, it was important to make sure that integrity and ethics were maintained at all times. So according to the Transplant Living website, in 1986, the United States federal government decided to partner with the United Network for Organ Sharing in order to create, maintain, and operate 24/7 a computer system to amass all of that data into one place and help match organ recipients to organ donors. And this is run 24/7. What happens is once an organ donor passes on, an organ coordinator enters the scene and enters the data of the donor into the UNET, which is the computer system. That data is matched according to different criteria, and a recipient is found. That criteria, according to the American Transplant Foundation, can include things like distance, medical urgency, and compatibility. After a recipient is found, the next step, of course, is surgery. And surgery recovery times vary depending on age and health of the person involved, as with any surgery. Online data from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, dated 2014, titled "The Need is Real" data, shows that in 2013, those lucky enough to receive organ transplants included over 1,000 children who were under 10 years old. An additional 3,000 were under the age of 35. For many of you, saving just one of those lives is important enough to want to help this cause. But in fact, the American Transplant Foundation actually shows that one donor can save as many as 8 lives. Think back to a time when you or your loved one were in the ER and needed something as simple as blood or tissue for an emergency procedure. Weren't you relieved that that was available to you at the time? And wouldn't you be glad to pass on that sense of relief to someone else who needs a vital organ? Make that choice today. Join with millions of other donors who help save lives every day. The process is simple. You can either visit the Department of Motor Vehicles in your area or go online to www.dmv.org to request a copy of the donor card. You'll sign and fill out the card. You'll receive a sticker to affix to your driver's license, and you can let your friends and family know that you've decided to become an organ donor. It's easy to look at the information we've discussed with a blind eye and consider it only numbers, but these are real people. These are fathers, sisters, siblings, children, and they all have lives they want to enjoy with their loved ones and carry on memories just like any of us do. Organ donation is vital to save lives of others and give people a second chance. The American Transplant Foundation dispels some common myths that prevent you from wanting to donate, such as you don't have to be in perfect health in order to be an organ donor. You aren't treated differently if you're in some sort of an accident and in the hands of medical professionals. And if you so choose, you can still have an open casket funeral as well. The process for organ donation is fair in matching up donors and recipients and is vital for those who need these critical surgeries. The family of the organ donor who wishes to live on as someone's hero is never charged for any expenses along the way. No one knows what life may throw at you along the way or what turns life can take, but what better way to live on and show your love after you've passed than by becoming an organ donor? The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services shows there are enough people on the organ waiting list to fill an entire football stadium twice over, and that list continues to grow every 10 minutes. Help today from keeping that list growing and become an organ donor to save lives and pass on the precious gift of life.